Hello and welcome everyone. Let's wait a few minutes for at least someone to join and then we'll start modeling Danjin again from where we left in the last stream. Let's set up the camera in the meantime. So just to see things better. And let's get back to working. So we finished almost half of the head or the front hair part in the last stream, so we'll finish the rest of it today if possible. The back of her hair is not visible in this chibi form and it is a bun which is rotated into, it's a braid rotated into a bun shape, so I might have to get good references for that before trying it. So let's make this small hair part first. I'll just duplicate one of the edges from here and use that as a base to make this. So shift E, Z, and we have a part duplicated. Then E to extrude, move it to the left. Okay, it still has the mirror modifier. Do we need to select it and separate it using P and selection? And then remove the mirror modifier. Now we can move it to the left and edit it. Yeah. We'll be adding thickness to all of the hair parts, so it should look better then. But for a start, the slow poly stuff is good enough. Let's see it in cycles for once. We don't have any. EV2 cycles, and it should look better. Let me check the device. This is the new version of Blender, so I haven't set up a default file which uses the GPU. So let's do that. And I think it looks good enough to start. Let's fix this part already and move it, extrude it and move it to the back. I do have this X symmetry on, so if I do anything on the right side, it reflects on the left as well. But for that to happen, your model should be fairly symmetrical before starting. So if it's not already symmetrical, like if there's an extra loop cut here and then I try to move it, it will affect it to some part, but it will not be identical. So it's better to have it on after you have a mirror modifier, after you apply a mirror modifier. So like I'm not getting it again, so I'll just undo to the point where it happens. E by and it does not work. I think while extruding I did not keep the symmetry intact, so that is the reason, because it works still here. So I'll select everything, E to extrude and Y to lock it in Y, and shift R to repeat the last action, and then I'll just move it up. Rest of it is good enough, I think. Let's make the earrings. Okay, I did not make the ears, so let's do that first. This model still has the mirror modifier, so it should work, but let's just make a copy of the head just in case. Okay, so the ears are done as well. Make sure to check the inner corners if you're making it, because when you move things around, like this corner, if I move it, push it in, the inner part can be exposed right here. So just check for the parts that are hidden. This should look good with a solid subdivision modifier. Yeah, it does look good. It's a little odd, maybe the ears are a little big, but I think we'll be covering it with hair in the front, so it should look good. I'll just reduce the size a little bit more. 1 to front view, select all in X-ray mode and move it a little in, and let's adjust the hair part now. So we need to totally remove this part, so delete that face and move this a little back. Add a loop cut wherever necessary to add a little more geometry and fix the model. So that is it for the ear, I guess. Let's model the hoop and the earring. Let's just shift to the original model for that. So if you want to have an earring here, what you can do is make another new circle and then add it and parent it to the rig. But what you can also do is you can just duplicate this or any face which is already rigged and then use that to create it. This way it will already be rigged and you might need to just adjust the weight paint instead of rigging it and parenting it. So I'll just use a duplicated part from the ear. I'll just select all parts SZ0 to make it flat, and then I'll subdivide, right click subdivide, and use the loop tools add-on to make it into a circle. So this way you have quad circle. Then let's scale it and rotate on the y-axis. Inset a little and delete the middle faces. Then select everything and E to extrude. This will give us the earring shape. Let's scale it and let's press shift X to not scale it in the X direction, and this much is good. Then just adjust it to however you like it. It might have been better if we added another circle or used some more loop cuts to make it a little more circular, but I think with low poly it's good enough, and when we add the subdivision modifier it should be good if we end up using the subdivision modifier. A bit too thin, guess. So if we scale it using Alt S, it should, yeah, it's just getting better in the, what do you say, area of cross section. Yeah, I guess. Let's adjust the ear a little, it's a bit too white. And I think that looks good enough. And then there's a circular pin around here, and then the flat part. Let's see the Chibi version for once also. Okay, it's even simpler, so let's use that. It's a bit less thick still, so I'll use Alt S to enlarge it a little more. And then maybe just a little in the X direction as well. And then adjust the placement. It looks a bit weird when her ear is visible, but when it's not visible, it should look better. So now we actually want a circle here. So for that, let's rotate this first, RX, and hold Control to snap it, just so that we get this flat edge right here. And then we can use a loop cut here, Control B to bevel it, and then bevel both of these again. Then select the inner faces and then Alt S and scale outwards. This should create this part. And then we need to add this circle. So for that, what I'm going to do is add additional geometry, because we cannot use a sphere from anywhere that is already rigged with the head. But since it is in edit mode, I'm not making another object, so it should be good enough. So while this face is selected, Shift S and cursor to selected to add the cursor here, and then Shift A and a UV sphere, or we can even do an icosphere to save some space, because it's very small, so it's not very much visible. Okay, for this one you might have to turn off the clipping because it's merging the inner vertices. So with the clipping on, Shift A, icosphere, and if you scale it down, it still keeps the inner parts connected. So you can see it's still connected on the inside. So we don't want that. So let's turn off this clipping and then try to add the icosphere again. Shift A, icosphere, and scale it down, and yes, it is correct. So just move it up, turn off the X-ray mode, and we have this part done. Adjust the scale as required. And then I'll duplicate it again to make this part, but yeah, let's first duplicate it and then scale it down. Then select this face, insert it using I and then E to extrude and connect it to this. Okay, let's make it a little more squarish and then E to extrude and down. Easy, easy, and directly down. And then we have this hanging part, which I think is better visible in the low poly version. So it's just a flat plane, so let's use this. Shift D to duplicate, Z to move it down, and X move it in X direction to keep it in place. Everything seems to be a bit tilted, so let's select all of this together using L to select linked and rotate it a little. Okay, back to side view. Select the edge and then we can just extrude it downwards. Let's rotate this to front though. RX, hold Control to snap, and then edge select and then move it down and scale it up a little. Add a loop cut, scale it to make the shape a bit curvier. Or if you want to, you can just keep it to something like this and it will be straight down, like flat. But this should look better when the subdivision surface is applied. The reason I don't apply subdivision in the start is because I'm not sure if I'm going to use subdivision or not on the model. If I like it the way it is in the low poly, I'll just keep it like that, and if I don't, I might apply subdivision later. So I just extruded it a little to give it some width and volume, and I think the earrings are complete as well. Next, what should we do? Let's work on the boots, I guess. Shoes. Okay, I don't have any images for the shoes, or I might have one. Okay, I don't. So let's leave the shoes for later. Let's see what we can add for now. Okay, we have this pendant and two attached like things to it, and we still have to make this part. This can be texture painted as well. I think it might be a better decision to texture paint this and like this white part and the red part instead of making it, because then it will be too high poly. And this part can also be just like texture painted like the Chibi version. Even they don't have like all the details. It is on top like this, and it is like a texture like this. So we can keep it for texture. Okay, she has a little hairpin, flower hairpin in the Chibi version, so let's add that. Let's use a part of the hair and duplicate a face. Let's use this part because we already have applied the mirror modifier on it. So let's use this part and this face maybe. Let's use this one and duplicate it, set to move it up, and I'll just use this to make it. So let's first make it square. So I'm going to select these two vertices SY0, then these two SY0, then these two SX0, then these two, and shift R to repeat the last function. So this should be like proper rectangle now. And this should be roughly a square, roughly. And now for the flower, what we are going to do is Alt E extrude edges, and then S to scale it outwards. Or what we can do is instead is give it a little thickness by extruding a little up, then select all of these edges by pressing Alt left click, Alt E, and extrude individual faces. This makes a plus type thing, and then we can just set the origin to individual and then scale it to make this shape. Then press Alt T and extrude individual faces again, and then let's scale it down. Scale it down, but let's keep it locked in the Z so it does not reduce the height. Messed up a little, so let's undo till we can. Let's see this first. So it is not totally flat. So let's set 0 for this face, and similarly for the lower face set 0, Now it should be totally parallel to the ground. Next, we'll do the same thing again. Shift and edge select to select this whole edge. Alt E to extrude individual faces. Scale them. Shift Z to lock the scale in Z direction, or to not do it in the Z direction. Then Alt E extrude individual faces again, and then S Shift Z to lock out the Z direction and scale it down. This should be it. Let's select it all using L and then scale it a bit up in the Z axis. It gets messed up again. Okay, I don't know why that is happening now, but now I'm curious to see why it happens. Alt T, extrude individual faces, and the problem starts here. This is a bit down and this is a bit up, and the reason is the face is not being flat. So I'll just go around and SZ0 everything. Okay, still the same issue. Let's just delete this face, delete all of these faces, select this one face and see if it is at least flat. SZ0. Okay, it is flat now. E to extrude and extrude a little. Select the edge loop. Alt E, extrude individual faces, move them out, and it is fixed. Okay, let's scale them up in the Z direction as well. Then Alt T, extrude individual faces again a little, then scale them down. We can texture paint the detail as well. I was going to inset and make it, but I think it's better to just texture paint it. So I'll RX 90 to rotate it 90 degrees, move it to the front, RX to rotate a little and adjust it so it's in the front of the hair. We should have given it a little more thickness, I think. And we can shape it a little so it's sort of 3D, like with an inset in the middle. I think that looks good. We can increase the size as well. And let's make it golden so we have it visible. And I think it's time to add some thickness to the hair. Might have to separate out this pin and just use solidify modifier to add thickness to the hair directly. Let's test it out first. Edit, generate, solidify, move it up and make the offset positive, increase the thickness around 0.4 is looking good, and I'll add the same to this one. So you can select this, then shift select this, control L, and then copy modifiers. But this does not have the mirror, so shift click this, shift click this, control C, and copy selected modifiers only. So the difference is control L gives you the option to copy the complete modifiers together, and then control C, if you have the copy attributes add-on enabled, it gives you the option to only select or copy selected modifiers. So I'll just copy the solidify because we already have the armature on this one. So it is solidified. This I think can be combined with this. So let's click this, shift click this, and control J to join it together. And then we have to move this up. Yes. And then the hairpin needs to be a little more out and scaled up. Okay, not maybe not scaled up, but we can move with the origin to its center, origin to geometry, and then adjust it further. So it should be here around here. It should also cover the hair part, so that's a neat trick. Oh, How did this happen? So if you want to fill in faces like this, you need an add-on called F2. Let's see it in Git extensions. F2 add-on is available to install, so let's install it and it should be enabled. Now if you want to fill this face, just select this vertex, press F and you can fill this face, and you can hold Ctrl to snap according to your snapping options, but I'll just eyeball it here. Click this F, right click. When you right click, it should usually place it in the best position possible, but you can always adjust it later. Now for the last one, select these three and press F and it should be filled. We're getting some issues, so let's turn off the edit mode solidify visibility. Okay, that is fixed. Next, let's just adjust the hair a little so we don't see through the gaps. Okay, I did. Okay, this has a mirror modifier, so we don't need to worry about the other side. We do have a slight gap here, but let's try to fix it using the front hair. If we move it to the right, it should fix it. But then all of this part is behind this, so we might have to move all of this back in. We could have also just changed the subdivision or the solidify strength. That would have also fixed it. If this is 0.02, this should already be less thick than the outer hair, and that should have fixed it as well. But let's keep the width equal or the solidify strength equal. Okay, it think that is good enough to start. I mean, good enough to finish the hair. Let's add a basic material to the clothes. And remember that we excluded the torso from selection, so it's not selectable. So let's just select it and add a skin material. Let's just color pick it from here. It's almost white, just a little towards the red. Let's give it the skin color as well. And let's keep it solid for now. So we need to duplicate this part to add to the clothes. So let's just go to face, select shift D, duplicate, right click to reset, and then P to separate it out with selection. And then we'll just combine this and this with Control J, and it should automatically take the modifiers from the parent mesh. And now we just need to connect these vertices. So press M and merge by distance. If it does not remove it, you can just increase the distance and it should do it, or you can do it manually as well, because the upper mesh is a little bit scaled up. So let's select all of this and S and scale it by 1.002, because that is what we scaled up with in the first video, and move it a little down. Then if we select all of these, M and merge by distance, it should remove all the vertices. 1 2 3 4 5. Yeah. So now, okay, still not. Now what we need to do is remove the skin material from this, and it should all be a single material. Yeah. Do we have an HDRI? No, we don't. So let's add an HDRI, and it should look better immediately. And let's make it transparent. Scale up the shoes a little, and that fixes the overlapping issue. And I think we're almost close to finishing this model. This is looking really good for now. and I'm enjoying the low poly style of this one. I did not think I like it this much, but I think the low poly style looks good. So just let me have some water, and then we can move on to the shoes to get some reference from the game first. Let's try to add eyes first. And see how it looks. We do need to fix the hair from here as well. We messed up the shape a little bit. Add a loop cut here. Move this a little out. Adjust it. The original one was better. So let's keep it to the original shape. Let's add some simple eyes like the one I have in my model. We'll have to test and see if those look good, or do we need to add the ones like this, the anime style. So I'll just duplicate the face for now. Shift D, Y, and move it out. Control R to add a loop cut, and then select and delete this face. Next, scale it down, move it back, extrude. Or let's first add two loop cuts here and then turn it into a circle and then elongate it. If we subdivide again, it should look a little better. The eyes definitely need to be separate and with a subdivision modifier, because these don't look good, these look horrible. P to separate by selection, and I'll just add one level of subdivision, maybe two. And yeah, that is definitely better. And let's change the color to black. Okay, these ones look like she's possessed, so we definitely need to change them. I'm going to edit mode and let's rename this first to headshot eyes and then make a copy. Right click to place it, hide the original one, and let's edit this one. I'll just shift S selection to cursor. Okay, not that. Shift S cursor to selected to place it in the center and then merge, add cursor, everything. So it should give us just one vertex to work with, and then I'll just E to extrude and X in the X direction, and it should be something like this. Right click, subdivide this one in the middle and move it up. Select all and bring it to the cursor again. So now we need some different set of modifiers for this. We do have a mirror, that is okay. We do need a subdivision, but we also need one more, that is the skin modifier. So generate a skin modifier and it goes absolutely bizarre. Let's go into isolation mode and select all and scale it down, but it does not work. So Alt S to scale, that does not work. Control A to scale, yeah, that works. Control A, select everything, Control A and scale it down. Next, if you need smooth shading, you need to turn it on from here, and that works with subdivision enabled. So you need to move the skin modifier before the subdivision modifier, and let's select this one and bevel it out. Control B does not work for beveling vertexes or vertices, so Control Shift B. And this looks good, I guess. Control A to scale it a little, and S to scale in general. Scale and adjust as much as you like till you like it. So this looks way better than what we had earlier. That's why even my model on screen has this eyes, because the flat ones, the ones we had earlier, they don't look very good unless they're in motion. So this looks like she's haunted, and this looks like a jolly pair of eyes. That is done. Let's give color to her earrings as well. So go into edit mode, L to select linked, and we'll have to add a new material for it. Let's adjust the panels. And let's give it the golden color as well. Did make a gold color, I think. No, what did we make? Okay, the hairpin. Let's just rename it to gold. Assign it. Next, this one is a blue pearl. So select this one, add a new material, click new, blue dot pearl, and let's make it blue for now, and we might add some transparency later. this has a gradient from white to red, but we'll keep it low poly and we'll keep it white for the most part and red for the lower part. So white the sign, and then this part can just have the red color. And I think that is it for the face. Let's just add geometry to it, like I was thinking earlier, to make the flower pattern shape. Let's do the inset. And assign maybe the hair color. That should do it. And I think I'm going to keep it at this for today's session. We're almost an hour into streaming, and let's just close it for now. Let's test the rig for once. Cursor to world origin, and let's save it. So we'll test the rig later, I think, and I'll be closing the stream for now. So that is it for this video. We're almost done. It should be finished in 1 or 2 streams more. So I hope you're enjoying it so far, and thanks for watching.